next presenter is Mansolf Sisi. We've got the name of Franz Rothman. It's Rothman. Rothman. Right. Please close the door.
Thank you very much. Madam Chair, thank you very much.
The process is that I'm the first one to speak. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly declare that the facts you are going to present before this panel will be the truth and the whole truth?
I do, Chair.
Thank you very much. May you please state your name and your position at Mansolf Sisi?
Chair, I am a founding member of Mansolf Sisi and my name is Franz Rothman.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, you can proceed with your presentation.
Chair, thank you very much for the opportunity also. I want to take the liberty and maybe just to add 2 or 3 questions to what you have already asked the presenters of ESCOM. I must say the questions that you've raised has actually instilled some of the confidence that I have lost in Nersa, and I will disclose to you why that is my view. I think the critical thing I want to present from a total different perspective, and that's a perspective of the consumer. Especially my experience is from the consumers in Rustenburg, given the fact that we are dealing with presentation or a public participation process in Northwest. The first problem, and you've raised many a question about that, is the income that has dropped in terms of an estimate of 30 billion rand. I'm just looking from a total different perspective. And Chair, I think you've raised it in a sense. I want to know, is it linked to volume or is it linked to price? And to have that distinction between the two, we want to know what percentage of the 30 billion rand is volume and what percentage is linked to price, given the fact that ESCOM say there is no correlation. My personal experience is that there is a direct correlation between the increase of the price of a commodity and the utilization. Another practical question, what is the provision for non-payment? And that is sales, the price per kilowatt hour. It's very simple, but I want to know what does non-payment cost the consumer, and especially the paying consumer in South Africa. There was huge amounts, if I recall correctly, something like 8 billion rand disclosed for depreciation. Is the depreciation cash back? Is there a fund at ESCOM that shows we've got X billion rand that we have filtered into the tariff price that will be used in future to replace power plants or infrastructure? You've mentioned are there any plans to reduce the overstaffing by 15% as mentioned? 15% is about 7,000 employees. I've read Mr. Tekblom refer to about 10,000 employees, too many at ESCOM. One of the presenters also said that 339 billion, it would not have been there. Now, such a reference does not add value to me as a consumer. No consumer or no business can be saved by claiming such. That's hindsight. The question that is for me important, what has ESCOM done, given the fact that Nersa has disapproved their previous huge price hikes, to actually say, but this is the environment in which we are rendering the services, what can we do to change it? One of the presenters said, we can have a reduction of 6% is possible if efficiency is built in. Why not claim 15%? Why not claim 9%? Why must we as a consumer pay for the inefficiency that is prevailing at ESCOM for years? And And I would also like to have more info on the reasons why major smelters close, because it seems that that is one of the big variances. Are prices to smelters not substantially lower than what households pay? Is it above the cost of generation, distribution and transmission? Remember, some years ago, Media 24 had to approach the High Court to get information on the contracts that has been concluded with BHP Billiton. Are we still in the same position? Is price sensitivity not a reason resulting in imports being increased from China, given the non-correlation stance? Then one thing that has been mentioned in the presentation, it was told that there is a 25% variance between Eskom and municipalities. My exposure is far more.
Mr. Rodman, are you having slides or are you reading from your?
No, I am just from the presentation previously.
Oh.
But I will continue just now, ma'am.
All right, and then the slides, are you going to show the slides?
Yes.
All right, okay.
One of the presenters also mentioned, and I'm very glad, that there's going to be a substantial change, or in terms of thinking about times of use and the winter tariffs. Winter tariffs have a substantial impact, negative on the cash flow of consumers. And then Chair, one of the slides, the presenter only mentioned, as far as I can recall, that there was a substantial slowdown of the economy in 2008, whereas the slide showed that there was a 3.9% effect as a result of load shedding. So we are actually paying for that. Now, Chair, come back to my slide. The others are just as a result of some of the questions or what I've picked up in the presentation. Thanks for the opportunity. As I mentioned, it instilled some confidence in Nersa. However, it seems Nersa has no teeth when municipalities are involved. The multi-year tariff determination is effectively about a 52% hike in Eskom tariffs over the next 3 years. Should Nersa not have been able to detect what was happening at Eskom? Chair, you referred to some of what has been widely reported, and I'll come to that corruption reported in the public media about Eskom. And it seems as if Eskom wants to side away from that. I think it's relevant and in the public interest. As a member of the public, I see Nersa as a watchdog over Eskom, and I'm very glad about the questions that has been asked by the panel. It's very relevant, and as I said, it installs. Is it wrong for the public to expect that? I don't know. My expectation, and I think that's for leaders, that Nersa will see further than us. They will see more than me and all of us here, and see before we see what is happening at Eskom. My experience in Rustenburg, and I use the abbreviation RLM, Rustenburg Local Municipality. Nersa approved tariff increases 2 years ago, subject to the repairs and maintenance budget being 6% of income. That was flatly ignored by Rustenburg Local Municipality. Now, especially consumers on small holdings around town seems to have more outages than electricity supplies. Despite engaging with Nersa, there was no consequences to the municipality. The media reported last year a 260 million debt of a municipality owed to Eskom. RIM refused access via buyer. Eskom transferred it to Rustenburg Municipality on 3 December. We should have received it by latest 6 January and still we have not yet received it. I've got a letter here written from Nersa, where I just said the following. Nersa wrote letter dated 15 November stating the municipality is not one of the defaulting municipalities. It has a dispute which is confidential, and we should get, if we want more information, we should get it from a municipality. It actually, according to me, implies that Nersa, not you, Chair, but the people at Nersa actually supports and bail out the municipality. Where does it leave with the electricity consumer of Rustenburg? Should Nersa not have instructed the municipality to supply me information? Now, can we trust Eskom's application? Would they not have withheld information deemed confidential? As I mentioned, Media 24 had to approach High Court to get information on BHP. We are in Rustenburg, deemed to be the top producing area of platinum and related minerals in the world. Will the mining industry, already subjected to depressed commodity markets, be able to withstand an increase of this magnitude? What about job losses emanating from these increases? There is yet, as we stand today, no measures to stabilize and improve Eskom's financial position and ensure uninterrupted energy supply. So, does it really have to be here? Can this engagement be viewed as meaningful? Should Nersa not have come to us after the task team appointed to come up with solutions that actually put the rescue plan on the table? However, we would not have been here if we were not confident that Nersa will actually consider our concerns and let it find expression in the tariff increase to be approved for Eskom. And municipalities as licensed distributors, subject to license conditions. I think it's very important that we realize the real problem is a problem of confidence. The critical problem, the people of South Africa do not trust Eskom. And Eskom is a sole provider to most households and businesses. I do not even trust the accuracy of their calculations submitted to Nersa in support of their price determination application. And I'm just frank about it. Eskom have demonstrated that individuals employed by Eskom were capable of capturing Eskom and enriching themselves, and a few politically connected refer to media reports on McKinsey, you've referred to it, trillion regiments, optimum coal mine acquisition, via 600 million prepayment to Tegeta. I like that, prepayment, to name but a few. What guarantee do we have as consumers that it will not happen again? One of the panel members said he picked up that there was an arrogance from Eskom. It's not there said, but it's say you better take it or you will have problems. What I want to tell you, I've had 2 weeks ago the following experience. Eskom cannot even run their customer care services, emails, or their SMS service, and that's the number that they tell you, 3528, where people have to report faults. How can we trust Eskom to deliver on Medupi, do preventative maintenance on power stations or the electricity grid, sign value-adding contracts on the supply of coal, or sign agreements, loan agreements of billions of rands, apparently with China? Eskom is currently a major risk to our country, whether we like it or not, the economy and the SA taxpayer. What has been allowed to happen to Eskom under the watch of Nersa? And Chair, they will have to clarify us as a public, because we believe that there is a watchdog role. And I've not went back and checked what the law says is your role exactly. Eskom was once viewed, and that was, I took it up, or I heard it, Mr. Praveen Gordon said it in an interview on news. Eskom was once viewed as one of the top public entities in Africa, and reportedly one of the biggest 4 generators of electricity in the world. Now, I see there's talk in the media, and that's what they give through, 410 billion in red measured against a 40 billion in 2007. 48,628 employees. Government guarantees of 350 billion. I might just, it makes SAA and Sunroll look like Sunday school picnics. And that is nearly every day in the week. Eskom, or City of Cape Town, is reportedly even charging 150 rand per month fee for declining electricity income. Our experience since the first 35% in 2008, increase to Eskom was 35%, increase allowed to municipalities was 35%. It happened for 2 consecutive years. Nersa has subsequently changing, but that was wrong. However, the 35% was never adjusted retrospectively. So, according to me, we are actually paying too much for electricity. Consumers still pay the wrong tariff, as all tariffs are based on percentage increases. You can go to any municipality in South Africa. The chance that they are actually working on a cost of supply is basically zero. But just take what was last year's price, we add the percentage, and that's the new application that goes to Nersa. The problem is, as I've mentioned, if Nersa approve it and say, yes, we approve these tariffs, but you have to set aside 6% of revenue from electricity for repair and maintenance of the electricity grid, it doesn't happen. So where does it leave me? And that's the issue why I'm saying, it seems that Nersa is also a toothless bulldog. I'm not aware that the municipality ever went back to actual cost of supply and used that as a basis for any application. Here I'm just giving, and I'm sensitive for that, I'm just giving the information on this slide what actually happened in Rustenburg. The increase in electricity, the percentage increase, if you filter into the winter tariff that was approved was 499.75%. The average increase per year was 62.47% if you filter it over 12 months. The household tariffs in 2007, 364, I've not calculated, Chair, what is it now, but it's even worse. In 2015, it cost 1,393 rand, an increase of 1,000 rand a month. Increase in percentage was 281%. If you then calculate it as an average increase per year, it's 35%. That, according to me, speaks to the concerns that Eskom has raised here. That the price difference, I talk about 89.34 cents per kilowatt hour, and what the municipalities, and if I recall correctly, it was given as 80% of the electricity that has been delivered. What they charge the person in the household is substantial. It is not close to a 25% that has been mentioned here. I've just here in this slide put out the process. We appreciate the fact that we can raise our concerns here. My last question is just, does it help to the public to approach Nersa? In 2 instances, and I've got letters to that effect, I've approached Nersa to help me with problems with the municipality in terms of tariffs or to that 6% issue. That would, if it would have been done, the people of Rustenburg would not be suffering. No correspondence, no approval, and that's why I'm saying. The other big issue that we all know is the debtors and the municipalities not paying. I've seen over the weekend, it's the media report that Soweto owes 17 billion rand. Now, as far as I could determine, Eskom delivered directly to the people or consumers of Soweto. And I've seen even on Twitter some people's confirmed it again. And then 17 billion is owed by municipalities. So we talk about 34 billion rand. Now, Chair, we all know if they are not paid, they cannot continue. And that's why I'm asking the question, what has been filtered in the tariff for non-payment? The last thing I just want to say, the only solution, and I know it has come forward in terms of rates in the past, is that there should be legislated ring-fencing of electricity in municipalities. And maybe it's already part of the license agreements, I don't know. But if it is ring-fenced, then the municipalities cannot utilize the money that I as a paying consumer pay to pay for other issues. Because we all know, and it's been widely reported, ESCOM come and they publish in the media and notice that they will be cutting the electricity supply to towns. I know there's places like Harry Smith, for instance, that now have actually taken to court to say, get clarity on that. But we, according to me, the only solution is to ring fence it. Distribution losses is another substantial issue. Distribution losses, I think somebody mentioned, one of the presenters, about 9%. Now, National Treasury on municipalities talk about a 7 to 8% distribution loss. My problem, in Rustenburg, they include, for instance, the supply to Glencore in the distribution loss. And we all know that there's no loss on the supply to Glencore. So instead of reporting at 22%, we are reporting, we as a public, all councillors are told the 7 or 8%. Now, who's going to worry about the 7 or 8%? It's reasonable, even in terms of National Treasury. But the public will be up in arms when it's reported 22%. And that's the question why I'm saying, where does Nersa come in to protect me over and above when they say no, but there's a price limitation or a price increase? There's no repercussions at municipal level. Who suffers? The law-abiding consumer. Chair, in conclusion, what I'm saying, and it sounds maybe a little bit harsh, as I've mentioned, it was good for me to attend. Under Nersa's nose, on their watch, electricity consumers of municipality pay today between 288 and 499% more for electricity than in 2008. And if challenged, the only reason the municipality would say, but it has been approved by Nersa. Nersa is this whole thing that say everything is fine because you have checked. Now, I love it, but then I must be able to bank on it. Since 2008 in Rustenburg, on average an increase far beyond inflation. The reported inflation is between 5 and 6%. Economic growth of not even 1% is predicted for 2018-19. Yet ESCOM, and I want to support one of your panel members who said no, they are actually arrogant. ESCOM has the audacity to ask for 15%, blaming previous requests for increases not granted, even taking Nersa to court. That's what I've read, in a market where it has no competitor and where ESCOM discourages consumption of its own product. Everybody of us knows it. In 2008 they all said no, don't. Now people have come and they started using less electricity. And now we say no, there is no correlation. And that's come to the first question. Now when consumers use less of ESCOM's product, ESCOM applies for a tariff increase of 3 times the inflation. Which business can do that and still survive? Can any business recoup such increases? My second conclusion, if a business is poorly managed, it closes its doors. ESCOM has been poorly managed for years. Yet it is reported that their employees have the highest average salary in South Africa. With all due respect to the gentleman who presented today, I think you are the highest paid people in this room today. In Rustenburg, according to Stats SA, the average income of full-time employed employees is 283,000. Municipal employees, 163,000. How do I go and I tell a person who is not employed that he must pay 15% more for electricity? I don't think we can do it. We are already paying for inefficient management as ESCOM. After the state captured disclosure and how coal of poor quality are sold to ESCOM, where does...
May you please wrap up? I'm giving you 2 minutes.
Thank you, ma'am. You have mentioned the issue of the cost overrun on capital projects. One of the presenters said no, the cost, 75% of the cost drivers at Eskom is related to capital. So Medupi, the overrun on Medupi, originally currently planned for 56 million, it's now reported over the weekend of 145 billion. That's 158%. In my book, it would be linked to management, poor decisions, poor leadership. I don't even talk about Kusile. Then there's talk of 100 billion restructuring, one of the representatives also referred to be funded by the taxpayer is also not an option. As we the people are again left to bail out without any real plan on the table. In conclusion, our request, there must be consequence management at Eskom and municipalities. There must be fair credit control. Currently, it seems that it's unfair selective credit control. You cannot disconnect a widow for 500 rand and leave people to owe municipalities millions, and if you look at Soweto, billions. Every business in SA and Eskom suffered the consequences of load shedding. Yet Eskom continue with its poor practices. Somebody asked a valid question, that what has changed that we can have confidence that Eskom will look after us? So my pleas, do not grant Eskom an increased supply for. Let them do what all of us were forced to do. Cut back and become more effective, efficient and economical. Review and enforce your license agreements. There's one thing that bothers the people a lot. Get clarity on disconnection of prepaid electricity on municipal level. It's a huge concern for people. There must be consequences even for a council or a municipality, not just left the people who pay to feel the brunt. I also believe we should get organized business and specialists, and I mentioned here Mr. Ted Blom because he's quite vocal about it, involved in the management of Eskom. They should review the turnaround plan, present it to Nersa and Eskom board for approval, and Eskom be forced to implement, like a business rescue. They cannot go and say, here's a plan and now we do something else. Insist on substantial reduction of operating costs as Eskom. Somebody mentioned a 6% efficiency benefit. No increase beyond the 5%. Lastly, what is the actual voice of consumers in Nersa at decision time? How do we know that our concerns are actually taken to heart and considered? Is Eskom's failure not proof of Nersa's inability? Should the role of Nersa not be reconsidered? Chair, I thank you very much. I appreciate the time of everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rotman. I see that you don't expect questions from the members. But I would like to indicate that on the issue of the municipal debt, Nersa is not folding its arms, but it's an entity that needs to make sure that in its processes it applies the fairness principle. So the investigation is already underway, but we never try to prejudge or preempt. So we need to get deeper into what are the causes of that debt and whether it is accurate to reflect the debt at the level that everybody says it is. So the Nersa is still busy with that investigation, and there will be processes where people will be informed as to what they need to do if they wish to participate or to come and observe the proceedings at Nersa. So Nersa has been working on it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. We are going to take the next presenter, and that will be two presenters have withdrawn. I've got Gillian van der Merwe. Gillian van der Merwe. Is this from Rustenburg municipality, from the municipal accounts disputes from Rustenburg? Maybe if they can just adjust the yes. All right. Ma'am, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly declare that the facts you are going to present before this panel will be the truth and the whole truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. Please state your name and your designation. I assume is it Rustenburg municipality?
That's correct, yes.
Please do so.
I'm Julian from America and I'm the director for municipal accounts disputes.
All right, you may proceed with your presentation.
Yes. ESCOM is the only company worldwide that encourages customers to purchase their product and use it by increasing their tariffs so unaffordably that nobody can afford it. The key economic driver for South Africa is the cost of electricity. Most smelters, mines and industries in South Africa receive electricity from ESCOM. There is no alternatives. The mining industry, especially in Rustenburg and Northwest, has already been adversely affected. Mines have been closed, there's been business rescues, job losses, and there's further anticipated job losses of over 12,000 employees just in the Rustenburg area, Longman and Impala are some of the mines just to mention. 90% of the economic existence is generated from mining, industrial and commercial industries. The small businesses are hit the hardest by electricity increases. ESCOM has done nothing. The cost of electricity has risen by almost 200% since 2008, as you can see in some of the slides. 2008, the average price was about 25 cents per kilowatt hour, now we're standing at 89 cents. ESCOM has increased its employees. It had 35,000 employees, it's sitting with 45,000. It has not generated additional capacity as customers are using less because the signals are being sent out. Therefore, ESCOM is being said to be understaffed. ESCOM has been plundered and captured by corrupt senior managements, the Guptas and the state for self-gain. And the public is sick and tired of paying the price for ESCOM's inefficiencies and mismanagement since 2008. The rotten ESCOM. Load shedding, the public feels load shedding is ESCOM money, and each time ESCOM requests a higher price increase, as seen from 2008 where they got the 35 and 31% increases. They implemented load shedding. That the public says, please don't load shed us because we lose a lot of money. We will rather pay the price for electricity. ESCOM, it's an ESCOM tactic to force overinflated tariff increases that is economically unaffordable and unsustainable. And us as South Africans have no control over it because ESCOM sits with it in its hand. So it brings load shedding and then it asks for high tariff increases and then it asks for sympathy because it's got a gap in its revenue, but it's causing itself. Only in January 2019, ESCOM announced that it was reducing management positions. They cut it from 21 bands to 9. But what about the rest? At least 70% of ESCOM's cost, of ESCOM's labour cost is management. They should cut it at least 70%. Then it will be more efficient because they've appointed more employees since 2008, but they are still inefficient. It's a normal business practice, as seen on the mines and businesses suffering, that the labour costs are cut first, and especially in management. But we haven't seen it as the public. ESCOM has not once come out and said this is what we've done to save South Africa's economy. We've cut jobs, we've cut management positions. They have forced people into business rescues. They forced companies to close down, as mentioned, like the smelters, and people lost their jobs. ESCOM needs to think out of the box, also with regard to outstanding municipal debt recovery. They need to try and either recover this debt directly from municipal customers, or they have a system which they implement prepaid. Let municipalities pay for their electricity usage in advance. Because they are sitting with an outstanding debt for municipalities that is out of control. They try, a municipality makes an arrangement, but it doesn't keep to the arrangement, but it still keeps consuming electricity. How are South Africans protected against that? Possible solutions could be to break ESCOM up into distribution, generation and generation and distribution, privatize it. Cut Eskom staff complement to half, 22,500 employees, and ensure that the responsible persons for the corruption are dealt with accordingly. The monies are recovered and people are criminally prosecuted. And also to encourage electricity consumption, because as seen in some of the presentations, the consumption has gone down. By clawing back on tariff increases that we previously had and decreasing the tariffs, and not increasing the tariffs. Eskom increases at 15%, not 4 years, 3 years, will cause adverse effects on the economy and cripple South Africa. And on top of this, municipalities are also going to apply increases. It is a given fact that some consumers are paying 200% more on municipal tariffs than Eskom tariffs. That makes the situation even more dire, so more companies are going to close. They're either going to move out of South Africa or look for alternative energy sources. Further increases will be suicidal to South Africa, already struggling economy. And if Eskom does not seek alternatives and think out of the box, there will be no more Eskom in the future. Energy users will seek alternative sources to be grid-free. We therefore request Nersa not to grant any increase that will be unsustainable for the South African economy. Eskom has already received the regulating account where we're going to get over 4%. Therefore, at most, 2% increase will be fair. Because as they have received since 2008 over inflation increases, they need to make up to South Africa.
I didn't realize that you were finished. I was just taking up some points from your presentation. Thank you very much for the presentation. I think members might have questions to ask. Mr. Span.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, ma'am. I think mine is probably just a request. You heard Eskom's presentation this morning. Regarding their stance on price elasticity of demand, saying, well, there are other factors that affect businesses than electricity tariffs. Now, in your presentation, I think it's the third slide, where you are indicating that the mining industry faces some challenges. My request really is, to the extent that we have information on some of these challenges with respect to mine closures, business rescues, and so forth, that point to the unsustainability of tariff increases, I think we would appreciate that information. You also mentioned that small businesses are hit the hardest by electricity increases. Again, we will appreciate any written information that will substantiate those statements that you are making in your presentation. And then maybe just lastly, you are proposing a tariff increase of 1 to 2%. Again, we will probably appreciate you expanding more on that as to the reasoning around that, if you can. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Span. Just hold on, ma'am. Are you going to be able to take down the questions?
I'll remember them all.
You remember them, maybe note them. And Mr. Mkize, is there any specific questions from your side?
Thank you, Chairperson. Thanks for the presentation. I'm already covered by my colleague. Just want to stress the point that I think it also applies to the previous presenter for continued participation in the setting of municipal tariffs, because some of the concerns deal with the municipality level. So I think I saw you in one of the sessions just to emphasize that you continue the participation, because those inputs are also useful in dealing with the municipal tariffs setting.
Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Mr. Full. All right, thank you. I do have a question. The first one that I have, which if you don't have all the information, you can submit to Nersa within 7 days. We'll appreciate that. Firstly, I want to check this from the presentation made by Eskom this morning, where in its presentation it anticipated growth coming from the municipality side. I want to check if the Rustenburg municipality intends to increase its consumption or purchases, bulk purchases from Eskom, and whether it is able to take up the committed purchase, volumes from Eskom. Those two things, whether it intends to increase, if so, by when, and what could affect such a plan, if it's a plan to increase the consumption or to take more volumes. And whether the volumes that have been committed by the municipality in the past 2 years or so, whether those volumes the municipality actually purchased them. And if not, what were the reasons? That's number 2. You can take them down, man. I don't want you to miss these questions. And then the third question is about affordability and willingness to buy electricity at current and future prices, including the increases that are even requested here. Firstly, the 45% increase in the next 3 years. In addition, this other increase in this RCA for 2017-18 based on the variance. So with the total of that increase, just on these 2 applications, apart from previously approved increase, can you touch on the issue of affordability as well as willingness of the municipality, including your customers, to absorb such increases and buy electricity, or to continue buying electricity at the same levels? I'll leave it at that. And then
can I answer? Basically, Rustenburg municipality is sitting in a situation where they built Waterkloof substation and it's 180 MVA. But the way Rustenburg is looking, if you go and drive in the industrial area, it looks very dire. Places have closed down. There's some businesses that are owing the municipality in excess of 20 million. They couldn't pay their account. Maybe because of the price of electricity, because they weren't competitive, because remember, you're sitting with Glencore that's getting the electricity at Eskom price, and this was specifically a smelter that to pay municipality increases. So it's an increase on top of the Eskom increases. And businesses are moving out of Rustenburg, which means the forecasted load that Rustenburg municipality might have had for the next 2 years is not accurate, because there's a houses standing empty, and we are battling to get investment in Rustenburg due to the high Eskom tariff increases and also due to the municipality increases on top of it.
And then if you have all the questions, I think Nersa colleagues, maybe they've taken down the questions, then they will send you a letter with some of the questions that we've asked, since you have not answered some of them. All right, so the letter will come through in the next few days. Thank you very much for your time and for the presentation. Thank you, ma'am. The next presenter is Power Starliner Ltd. I've got the name of Kagiso Domingos. If the presentation, you still need to connect things, I think it's going to delay us. Are you ready to start?
Thank you, Chair. You gave us to the assistance to look, but it seems that she is not able to do that. Just the
Is it going to be projected? for stakeholders?
Yes, I want to actually to.
Is it going to be projected? Where is the Nersa team that is supposed to assist? I mean, the presentations are supposed to be uploaded before the presenters start.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Chair, for apologizing.
I didn't give you an opportunity. I was still waiting for you to indicate that you are done.
I apologize.
May you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly declare that the facts you are going to present before this panel will be the truth and the whole truth? All right, please state your name and your designation at Power Starline.
I'm Frank. My name is Matani.
You are Frank, you're not Kahiso.
No, Kahiso is the one who's going to present the device itself, so I'm running through the presentation.
So your name is? Your name is Frank?
Frank.
Yes.
So name is Matani, M-A-T-L-A-N-D-I. So, yeah.
Let me collect the oath to Kahiso.
Good day, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly declare that the facts you are going to present before this panel will be the truth and the whole truth? Please state your name and your designation at Power Starline.
My name is Kahiso Domingos.
Oh, okay. All right. You may start with your presentation.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, everybody, for giving us this opportunity. Chair, this presentation will enlighten and give the Rustenburg population a chance to mobilize behind us so that we can have, renewable energy that is affordable. Overview and background of the company. Power Starline has been registered according to the South African company registration requirements. It is 100% BEE compliant, SARS compliant. It is categorized as an emerging company, with intentions of providing services to the clients in a transparent, efficient, and effective manner. It is HDI status. Actually, its HDI status are up to date because its directors and other members are effectively
you must remember that we only have 15 minutes, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, here I was giving us the background, Chair. I'll just go quickly through it because the gist of the whole presentation will be on the device that will be displaying to you. So, the device that was developed, we depended on bits and pieces of money that we got from people who wanted to assist this initiative. So we didn't have formal funding. Power Starline ensures adherence to the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. We comply with promotion of environmentally friendly products, promotion of equity, fair labor practices, respect to citizens' rights. Manufacturing of the product are not harmful or hazardous to human life. The aim is to produce products with no threats to environment and compliance with SPCA regulation. We intend to partner with parastatal, private sectors and government empowering communities. Our aim is to empower women, youth and disadvantaged individuals. Like in this case, Chair, this device has been developed by one of our youth members. We align ourselves with the United Nations General Assembly theme and regulations. We wanted to transform, we are interested actually in transforming global energy system that is needed to provide sustainable energy for all, to satisfy rapid growth in energy demand, particularly in developing countries, and to diminish the impact of climate change. New and renewable sources of energy stand at the center of global efforts to induce a paradigm shift towards green economies, poverty eradication, and ultimately sustainable development. We adhere to the call for a coordinated global energy strategy needs to be adopted in conjunction with consistent and stable national policies to bring down the cost of renewable energy technologies, including off-grid system for the use by poorest segment of the population living in rural areas. Power Starline PTY entity welcomed and supported the 2005 WSSD Resolution 60 subsection 1 initiative and investigated research that was informal, initiated the initiatives that the research that we did informally so brought us to the conclusion that reliable and affordable economy, the energy will be reliable and economic viability. Participation and presentation in energy and academia sectoral parliament. We participated in energy and academia sectoral parliament that was held on the 16th of September 2016. It took place in the Northwest, where energy, science and ICT in Daba took place. Community's mobile power station slides were patented. We were given support by Adams and Adams who helped us to register the company. The product is designed by our young fellow here, Kakiso Domingos. So the short and narrow of the presentation, Chairperson, I don't want you to go through the whole presentation because it will give you a short time to demonstrate his invention. So I'll cut the presentation.
Yes, you must do that because the presentation is supposed to look at the two applications today. It is not to demonstrate the inventions. So we will allow him 5 minutes to do that.
Thanks, Chair. And then for anyone who might need documentation on this, will
distribute outside.
Yes, Chair. Without waste of time, Chair, I'll give to Kafisa to
good day, ladies and gentlemen, once upon. I will try to be short on doing demonstration of this unit, of which is a Domigis mobile power station. Domigis mobile power station, during load sheddings, like we are experiencing load shedding, I'm using this product at my home to power lights at my house and then TVs, fan during load shedding. So there have been some times, as even last night, we are always experiencing load shedding because of the problems that ESCOM is always experiencing. So I would like to do some short demonstration on this event. This is the event how it looks like, and then this is the outer one, this is the BB box, and then inside it's a magnet, and also a battery, and then the battery is connected into the magnets, and also the battery it's converting the power, which is a DC, 12 volt DC, from the convert the DC volt into AC through the magnetic field. This is how it looks like inside. This is the heatsink and the voltmeter, the main switch here, and then the batteries and the magnets are here, and also the coil. So it's not a key to start. It's not a key. And then it takes 10 seconds to get for the system to get on. And then once so now it's becoming on, and then from there we plug the light of which is a 220 volts, but we were busments around 16, it's just a small light. But even something else like a fan, like I said, the TV, you can also plug it here. And then this is the battery. So now this is the voltage, the voltmeter. Now I'm plugging it.
I don't know where we've got ESCOM, I don't know whether we've got some technical people here. Just confirm the safety there before you continue the demonstration.
Yeah, the safety of this unit.
Chair, I think maybe for us to be able to demonstrate it correctly, I don't know if we are allowed to maybe to display it somewhere so that we can take it one-on-one. Because where we are
I cannot grant that approval. What we are looking for today are reactions to the applications that are before the regulator. So we didn't know that you were just going to display that and demonstrate, but you can do it at your own time, where you can meet people and convince them about the positive aspects of the invention. But as of the applications today, what are you saying? Because I heard you talking about renewable energy, so that's what we want to see. But I think from inside, we can't have such demonstrations without checking the safety.
Okay, thanks for allowing us to put your lives under for the meantime. It's not the time for change.
Well, thank you very much.
Frank and Garrison, we thank you for your time and also, showing what the invention is all about. You may also want to go to the right departments with regards to your with your inventions. You can also go to the Department of Science and Technology, and maybe they will be able to assist you further.
Thank you, Chair. We thought maybe through you can assist us.
Thank you for your time. We're now going to take a presentation from Swat Drachans, Landbouw District, and we have the name of Willem Rocha. Do you solemnly declare that the facts you're going to present before this panel today will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
It's going to be easy and fast. And
I didn't permit you because anything that you say there, you must first take an oath.
I do.
All right, you do. Okay, please state your name and your designation at Swat Drachans Agricultural District.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Willem Rocha from Swat Drachans District Landbouw. I'm a farmer and I'm not going to waste time of this meeting because we support what Mr. Roodman has said. So nothing further, and especially the part of Nersa that must be part of the whole solution at the end of the day. And as farmers, we don't support this hikes because we cannot afford it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rocha. ESCOM, that was very efficient. We now want to ask ESCOM to come forward, and hope that you have taken notes so that you can show to the presenters and stakeholders that came to listen to ESCOM and to engage on the applications that you have listened to them. You have taken all the critical points and you respond to the critical points, including the information that was requested by Nersa, and indicate how you're going to react to each of those points. Mr. Kassim.
Chairperson, thank you, and thanks to all the stakeholders for their inputs. I think in terms of today, they just wanted two clarities for the panel. Mpumelelo, when he presented the latest forecast for sales, Chairperson, that is the latest information. It's not the 9-month-old information, which was basically the application process. And effectively what we've done, Chairperson, we've taken this latest estimate with that reduction that he demonstrated, and on that basis, together with the generation performance, we've redone the production plan that we will then show the outcomes in Soweto. So I just want to clarify that. One of the stakeholders mentioned that is this application dealing with, or does it include ESCOM's inability to collect from municipalities? Our current non-payment rate currently on our total revenue sits at 3%. But in the application, Chair, we've only included a 1% in terms of the non-collectability, in terms of our revenue, our application. The issue on overstaffing that was raised, we've made our views, especially around the transmission and distribution, and we will also then demonstrate the generation impact in the closing at Gauteng. Chair, I think you've asked this question around efficiency and prudency costs. We did at the start of the process show on a high level where ESCOM's cost base is, and we will also deal with that in our closing around our operating cost base. In terms of municipal debt and the recovery, there is an interministerial task team that ESCOM is part of the participants in, and through the Minister of Culture, they will table their recommendations to Parliament, which we expect that to be tabled in February, and then we will deal with the outcomes of the mechanisms to address the recoverability of municipal outstanding debt. Chair, maybe just a last point that I want to conclude on. Yes, the RCA decision did have the liquidation of 4% starting next year. One of the stakeholders' recommendations is now that we already have 4 as a starting point, you must just add 2% on top of that to give an overall 6% for April 19. Chair, I think in terms of operating costs, we don't see our operating costs going up by 2% in the next year, and that will be part of the basis of our closing to the Gauteng year is what will be the requirement for Eskom to deal with the cost of producing electricity over the next 3 years, and to balance that with efficiency, prudency, and sustainability in terms of meeting our requirements. So Chair, I think in your summary this morning, you've highlighted the key issues on how to unpack the elasticity, the sales. We will then take that on board for the closing, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kasim. We don't have any further questions. Okay, Mr. Foley has one issue.
Yes, so I've asked twice now, and this is the third time I'm going to ask it. You haven't addressed if there's anything different you're going to do in terms of how you're forecasting your sales. Or you need to come back and confirm to us that you're not doing anything different. But can you do that in Gauteng, please?
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's hearing, and would like to thank everyone for taking your time to be here and to listen for yourself and all the information that has been presented here today, and so that you can understand the aspects of the application and some of the concerns raised by various stakeholders, and some of the information that has been requested by Nersa to make sure that we do a thorough evaluation of the 2 applications. We do request that those who promise to provide us information within 7 days, please do so, because that information will assist us in doing our independent verification. I would like to thank the members of the energy regulator, including our colleagues that are sitting over there, and the members of the panel for assisting today, and also to thank the translators and presenters, the Nersa team, and everyone who assisted in putting together today's event. And lunch is served, and we're still on a Monday, so we still have a long week ahead. All right, you are invited for lunch, and lunch is going to be at the restaurant. All of us will be at the restaurant. Thank you very much, Eskom, also for availing yourself and always availing your team to assist, and always commit to provide us with more information to make sure that this process really is meaningful, and that you also commit in providing the necessary information required by the regulator. We thank you very much for that. Thank you.